Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Tanya, we're holding 5 lines from the bottom of Mem Gimel Amud Beis. Tanya Rimei Omer. These are things we're familiar with. It comes from these Gemaras. Chayav, Odom, Levarech, Meya, Brachas, B'chol Yom. There's a chiyuv to make 100 brachas a day. Shenemar, V'ato Yisrael, Ma, Hashem Elokecha Shoyim Yimach. Ma is a lashon of Meya, of 100. That's one Pshat in Rashi. So here are the 100 brachas. You say by Shema Hamapel, that's 1. Netilas Yadayim in the morning in Ashiyotzar, it's 3 already. And then the 16 Birkas HaShachar. 16. The chap is, I don't know if people realize, why do we say these 16 brachas? Because the we have to give shvat. No, because we want to get to 100. They were misaking these 16, so we could easily get to 100. 3 Birkas HaTorah. Since it's in Tefillin, and there's another 3. Unless you're Sephardi or Gra, so it's only 2. Baruch Shamar and Shtabach. The Birkas Kriya Shema, and they include the Yiru Yinenu for everybody in Chutz La'aretz. Here in Eretz Yisrael, you're missing one. Shemona Esrei, even though it's called Shemona Esrei, it's really 19 brachas times 3. And then you have different brachas, the Suda. Not mentioned there anything about Asher Yotzar. I don't know. Okay?
No, more times.
More times during the day. Okay? Zok the Gemara. Rav Chia Bereder Rav Avio. And now we have a problem. B'Shabsu b'Yom Tovim. What do you do on Shabbos and Yom Tov? You're missing almost 40 brachas. The Shemona Esreis are shorter. There's no tefillin. You're missing 39 brachas based on the cheshbon. Torach u'memalu b'spar maki u'magdei. So you would fill it up with making brachas on psamim, like we do, like on Yom Kippur. A lot of people do psamim to wake themselves up, but also for extra brachas. And eating like nash, megadim, cakes, fruit. According to some Rishonim, like the Rosh, there's other ways to be mekayim the mitzvah, the brachas on Shabbos. What other brachas could you do on Shabbos? Kriyas HaTorah. Kriyas HaTorah. When you say Amen to all the brachas, you get another 8. Chazarah Sashatz. Some say these are kulas Haftarah. No, Kriyas HaTorah also. Kriyas HaTorah. The Rosh says Kriyas HaTorah. Okay, it's like as if you're saying it. If you're mechaven by Chazarah Sashatz, it's as if you're saying Chazarah Sashatz. As if you're saying, you say Amen. I agree to this bracha. Great.
Do you have an extra 38 every day?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But it's a kula. It's like b'di'evet sort of. You're not making it yourself. Another one. Chayiv Adam levarich shalish brachas b'chol yom. You have to make these 3 brachas every day. Elohe, Shosani Yisrael. So the reason why it says Shosani Yisrael is because of the censor. You can't write Shelo Yosani Goy when they're checking your Gemaras and very, very racist. So they wrote here Shosani Yisrael, but they changed it right away. Another reason is, so why isn't it Shosani Yisrael? Thank you Hashem for making me a Jew. The answer is because we're not happy that we were made at all. The famous Machlokes B'Sham B'Sil. It's better that we weren't created. So, okay, it's still maybe Nivra that Nivra Yisrael. Next one. Shaloi Osani Isha. We have more mitzvahs than a woman. So Baruch Hashem, we're not a woman. Shaloi Osani Bur. You didn't make me an Am Aretz. A Bur, I don't know Chumash, I don't know Mishnah. He heard his son making a bracha. Shaloi Osani Bur. Amarlei Kuli Hai Nami. What kind of bracha is that? Shaloi Osani Bur. A bur is also chayiv in mitzvahs. You're talking about who's chayiv and who's not chayiv in mitzvahs. So man is chayiv in more mitzvahs than a woman, so you make a bracha. You're chayiv in more mitzvahs, you make a bracha. Bur or not bur, you're chayiv. Says the Gemara, Amarlei velamai mevarach. So what should you say? He says, Shaloi osani oved. You make a bracha that you didn't make me a slave. Ask the Gemara, Hainu isha. Akobanim, so what's Hainu Isha? Hainu Isha means, if we're talking about mitzvahs, a woman and a slave have the same amount of mitzvahs. So what do you gain? Why you can't say the same bracha twice? You already said Shelo Yisani Isha, why are you saying Shelo Yisani Ovid? Says Gemara, no, Eved Ziltfei. It's a different level, and that's why when we say the brachas, we go in a level. We go from the lower to the higher. So we say Shelo Yisani Goy, Shelo Yisani Ovid, and then finally Shelo Yisani Isha. Taner Rabbanan, Chilazin Zeh, Doy Miliyam. Now, if you're going to go with Gufay, Doy Miliyam, his body is like similar to the ocean. If you're going to go with the Ptil Tchelet and all these other people that claim that this is the Tchelas, you're going to have a hard time explaining this Gemara. They don't like, they come up with all sorts of different explanations. It's similar to the Yam. So the meaning would be, maybe the blood that comes out of him is similar to the ocean, has like a blue dye. Ubriyosei doimeladag. His body is in the shape of a fish. How to explain that exactly? So I once did a whole thing to try to explain it. They try to explain it. This is a chilazah, this is head, this is a tail, kind of, a fish also goes in such a shape. They have all sorts of explanations. Or doimeladag, that it lives in the ocean, it's a aquatic creature. It's hard to get it. Even the Gemara in Shabbos says that they used to put out nets to catch it. Maybe it does surface, it comes out of the water once every 70 years, meaning it's very rare to see it. It's hard to get to it. And with its blood, you make tchelas. That's why it's super expensive. Tanya, Omar Rebbe Nosson. Ein lecha kol mitzvah kala sheksuva b'Torah sheimatan schor ba'olam hazeh u'la'olam haba ini yidei kama. Again, Omer Rebbe Nosson, ein lecha kol mitzvah kala sheksuva b'Torah. Even a light mitzvah like tzitzis, easy to look at. If you're looking at it, you're talking about a re'isim moiser, to look at it, that mitzvah. Even to purchase it, it's simple. Today you go online, you punch in a code, it comes to your house, you go to the store. It's easy a lot easier than getting an esrog, let's say. You have to go, you don't have to look, check. It just comes, it goes. You even get schar in this world. You can't fathom how much schar you get in the world to come. Again, the Vilna Gaon. I could buy tzitzis in this world for a few prutas, but you can't do it in Olam Haba. Rabbi Isai, here comes one of the most famous stories in Shas, and to me it's one of the most powerful stories in Shas. Look, here's a story from the mitzvahs of tzitzis. There's a story with a person. He was super careful with tzitzis. He heard about a famous Zoyna that lived very, very far away, very high demand. When the Gemara says arba me'ois, usually it's an exaggeration, a crazy amount of money. Shigur law, arba me'ois zuvim, this Baltaiva sends her the money, wires her the money. The Kaval Azman, so you can get an appointment. Kishigia Azmanoi came, Bava Yoshev al Pesach. He came to the door. I don't know why all this arichas. He came to the door, knocked on the door. They brought him in. There must be something here. I don't know what. The Gemara wants to point out that she was super wealthy. She had a slave that worked for her. That guy seems like it was not everybody. Maybe he fell for it. I don't know. He was desperate. He overpaid. That guy that sent you the money is here. Amra he yikanas. Let him come in. Nichnas. He comes in. This is important to the story. She had 7 beds, like bunk beds, one on top of the other. Sheishel kasef. 6 were made out of silver, super expensive. Va'achas shel zav, a bed made out of gold. Ubein kol achas va'achas sulam shel kesef. And in between each level there was a ladder. Vel yoyna shel zav, and the upper ladder was made out of gold. This is not like a mashal. This is real, as the Gemara is going to say later. Also, v'yashva al gabi al yoynik shiaruma. She went to the top one. She was undressed. V'afhu ala leishev arim kenegdon. He also went up there with her. Says the Gemara, Nes, Nigla happened. Those tzitzis that he was super careful with, he even went to the Zaina with it. He didn't bother to remove it. They looked at him and they patched him upon him. They gave him a smack in the face. He says, "Oh wow, this is serious. This is malid l'derech hateva. This is not a normal thing." Nishmat v'yoshev lo yagav karka. He immediately realized that he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. So he got off the bed. He sat down on the ground. So she went and she got off also and she sat down next to him. And she says to him, she made a shvua in the name of the Caesar of Rome. I'm not going to leave go of you until you tell me what flaw did you see in me? Everybody tells me I'm perfect, top in the world. I'm swearing back to you. I have never seen a more beautiful woman than you. So what's the problem? There's a mitzvah in the Torah, it's called tzitzis. Because of ba, it says about tzitzis, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, shtei pa'amim. Now he's giving you a dvar Torah over there, sitting on the floor. It says in the Torah, Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Let me tell you pshat, he tells the Zaina. Ani hu sha'asa li para, v'ani hu sha'asa li shalom sachar. He learned the drasha. No, it's not brought in our Gemara yet. Maybe he's mechadish it on the spot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu twice. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give a punishment to those who don't obey him. And on the flip side, he's going to give a lot of sachar. Achshav nidmo like harba edim. He changes it a little bit. He doesn't say they smacked me in the face. They're like 4 witnesses. Those tzitzis, this Nes Nigla, he tells her, Nes Nigla happened. They smacked me in the face. Now these 4 tzitzis that smacked me in the face, they're going to be like witnesses. They're alive and well. Mamish, more than Eid, double the Eid Asra. Arba Eidim. I can't get away from them. Amrlai, Eini manichoscha chatoymeli mashimcha. I need all your details. What's your name? Umashem Yircha, what city do you live in? Umashem Rabcha, who's your Rosh Hashiva? Umashem Midrashcha, and what's the name of the yeshiva Shatalamed boy? Now this guy, first of all, this guy's a yeshiva bacher. This guy's not a stam guy. This guy came out of yeshiva, and he went to Karcha Hayam. He took a ship, who knows where, with his tzitzis, with his shmeina begadim, with his levush. And she wants to know all the details. You're not leaving here until you give me your Rosh Hashiva's name and number. Zog the Gemara, Chosav v'nosam b'yada. To me, it seemed like when I learned it last night in Shir, it sounded like a get. V'chosav v'nosam la. I need to get out of here. She's holding on to me, b'shvua. She's making my life miserable. Here, take all the info. This is my name. This is my number. I'll see you later. Zaykizun, let me go. Says the Gemara, crazy thing happened there. She was very wealthy, and she divided up all her belongings so that she'd follow this bacher back to the yeshiva. Shlish l'malchus. She gave 1/3 to the kingdom, says Rashi, to bribe the king, to bribe the local authorities. They're not going to let her out. First of all, they need her there for her profession. But they didn't want to let her go, so she gave shlish l'malchus. Rabbi said, why is this one of the most powerful stories in Shas? Right over here. She gave shlish l'aniyim. She gave tzedakah. She wanted to be successful. She wanted to work. She knew that she has to do something positive, that she could do tshuva and give to the poor. Ushlish not l'biyada. You can't be a meshugana. You can't just give everything away. You got to live. So she left 1/3 for herself. Chutz ma'osim atzayis. She also didn't give away all the gold, the gold bed, the silver beds. Ubas lebeis midrashish rebechia. She had the address. She knew who he was. She knew where to go. She comes to the yeshiva. She tells the Rosh Hashiva, Rebbe, I want to become a convert. I want to become a giyaris. Biti, he calls her mamish in an affectionate way. Biti, my daughter. She's still a guy. You're not allowed to become a giyoris if you want to marry somebody for shidduch. Yesterday's story about the Meir Eglaim, the elevator, is just a shminis of the bush over here. A Zayna comes to the Rosh Hashiva and says, "Your Talmud, Pliny Almighty," with the whole name here. This is even his handwriting. He came to me. He traveled. He said he was sick for 3 weeks. No. He was on a trip to Europe and he came to visit. Here, this is his name. Omar Law. Seder. If that's the reason, if you're becoming a Yer is because of the Nes Nigla that happened over here, you realize there's the Rebbeinu Shalom. You can become a Geyeres. L'chi zechi b'mikochech. I want you to marry him. Unbelievable. So Zok the Gemara, those beds that she offered him to do an Isser on, hitzilei beheter. She told him to do a beheter. Says the Gemara, this is a Yid who is makbid on tzitzis. He got his full reward in this world. And I want to add now, no, it's something I didn't say yesterday. It's just poshut, as I'm reading it now. What's the matan schar? The matan schar is that it saved him, not the millions of dollars. It saved him from the Aveira. Rashi says, it's interesting, Rashi says, what's the matan schar? The beds. It doesn't say he married her. For whatever reason, maybe it means the same thing, they go into it. But over here, it seems like matan schar b'olam hazeh, that this has actually saved him from a big Aveira. Forget the money, the millions that he made off it. Could you imagine if this is in this world, what happened in the world to come? If you borrow a talis from somebody, a beg it from someone, you don't have to put on tzitzis. If you borrow clothing for more than 30 days, you're chayev and tzitzis m'derabbanan. If you live in a hotel in Eretz Yisrael, if you rent a house in Chutz La'aretz, you don't have to put up a mezuzah for 30 days. Rashi says, because you might regret it, you might want to back out of it. So they discuss, what if you know for sure you're not, you're stuck in a lease, maybe you are chayiv right away. Mikam ve'ilach, chayiv. More than 30 days, you're chayiv mezuzah. If you rent a house in Eretz Yisrael, you should put a mezuzah right away. Mishum Yishuv, the Eretz Yisrael. Fil shiyadin makeves. Sorry, yeah. Fil shiyadin makeves. Omer Rav Chizda. So we learned in the Mishnah that if you only have one of the two tefillin, you have shorosh or shayat, put it on. I skipped.
No.
We want him to stay there. Maybe I missed those words. I wanted to stay there. Put your mezuzah. Now you have to switch out the mezuzahs. This halach of switching out mezuzahs, Rashi brings down. That's why I remembered it. And you'll live in Eretz Yisrael, the Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Tefillah sheyadinu makheves. If you just wear the tefillin of yad, even though you don't have a shorosh. If you have both and you want to wear one, it's like kolaroy lebila in bila makheves. If you have both, so you only wear one out of two. Okay. Avalein loy makheves. It's halacha that's very hard to understand, and the Gemara is going to take it back right away. If you don't have two, do not wear one. If you only have one, don't wear that one. Why? The Gemara is going to explain later. Amar lo Marta, you said such a thing. Amar lo loy. No, I'm taking it back. Ella mandalesle trey mitzvahs chad mitzvah nami loy le'evid. Ella mandalesle trey mitzvahs chad mitzvah nami loy le'evid. You shouldn't do one. Umikar ma'ikasav. So what was umikar ma'savar? What was Rav Chizda thinking to begin with? Gzeira shemi yivsha. If you tell a guy you could get away with one, he won't do it at all. He won't go buy the other one. What did I say? I don't know what I said. I'm in a rush. If you tell a guy you could just wear one, he'll stay with one for the rest of his life. If you don't wear tefillin, you're over on 8. Where do you have 8? Because you have 2 assays in the Torah. Times the 4 parshias that you wear is 8. If you don't have tzitzis, look at these 5. Vasulem tzitzis, v'nosnu al tzitzis, v'hoyelachem tzitzis. What else is there? V'risem oisai. and you saying Gedilim Tasilach. So these are the 5. B'chol kohen, if you're Danny Fine or Rabbi Schoenberg, she'no oile laduchon, you don't do duchening for us. Where's David? He's not here today. Oivei, we need a kohen. B'chol kohen she'no oile laduchon oiver b'shloisha asay. What are the 3 averes that a kohen get? Down in the first minion, not good. So we need a kohen. Koi savarchus b'nei Yisrael is 1. Emor lahem yivarechacha Hashem, and v'samu shmi al b'nei Yisrael. These are the 3 that if you're there, not if you're at home, but if you're in the shul and you don't do duchening, you're over in these 3. If you don't have a mezuzah in your doorway, over b'shnei asay over uchsaftam twice it says you're over on 2 averes. Kol hameniach tefillin marach yomim. If you wear tefillin all day, not one time, you wear it all the time, marach yomim, it's a zgula of arichus yomim shenemar Hashem aleim yichyu. So the Gemara's darshaning Hashem means the tefillin that are on you. Hashem Yud shakai that's on your head. Aleim yichyu. We'll give you life. Aleim yichyu l'chol b'hem u'l'chol b'hen chayi ruchi v'sachnimeni v'chayeni. Will bring you back to life, so to speak. Rabbi Isai, here we are. Daf Mendalanam Beis. Back to Kachim. Hash soiles v'Hashemen. A person who brings either an oila or shlomim, it comes together with other things. You bring it with flour, with wine, with oil. We're continuing with the theme. How do we get into all this agadta? Because the theme of the last parak was things that are ma'akev and things that are not ma'akev one another. Right? So we said that tchelis v'alav, and this is, we started with tchelis because tchelis is not ma'akev the love, and love is not ma'akev the tchelis. In other words, you can do one without the other. Tefillin, the roish, is not ma'akev the yad, and the yad is not ma'akev the roish. Excuse me, they're independent mitzvahs. And now we're continuing with that theme. The flour is independent of the wine. So you could bring the flour one day and bring the wine the next day. You could bring it. You don't need to have everything together. You can bring the wine without the. It's also on different days. By the way, you could also bring a carbon mincha, like a nesachim by itself, without the karbanas. But we're talking about with the oila, with the shlabim. Hamatonish al mizbeach. We're referring to the blood that's sprinkled on the mizbeach. We spoke about this extensively. Here's a Remi Kohen, the mashal, putting a nesina. It's very narrow over there. So let's say he forgets. He got, they called him up. They said they have a major issue with the computer here in MDY. He runs off the mizbeach after he did one application. That's okay. The owner gets a kapara, even though in a chatas you have to do 4 applications, and all other karbanas you have to do 2, which are 4. 1 is beseder. It's not the best thing, but if that's what happened, that's what happened. Here, this is the mizbeach achitzon, the outer mizbeach. So if you put 1 application here, instead of doing all 4, or you spray it on Shnayim Shem Arba, it hits the corner and grabs 2 walls, that's enough, even though you're supposed to do it on this wall as well. Says the Gemara, Torah Rabbana. So we have a simple Gemara here. Just, how do we know what comes first? Does the flour come before the wine, or the wine comes before the flour? So the Gemara brings a pasuk to show it this way, and Rebbe says, no, the different pasuk shows it this way. Then the Gemara says, okay, but then what does each person do with the other person's pasuk? So says the Gemara, it's very, very simple. First bring the flour, then the wine. Rebbe Yomi the opposite. First you bring the carbon, the zevach, and then what do you bring immediately afterwards? Wine, nesachim. To show the oilam, there's nesachim. You pour the wine over here, there's 2 shitim over there. This is on top of the mizbeach, you pour it, okay. That comes immediately after the carbon. Before, says Rebbe, before the flour. Now we have to understand what Rabbanan say, Menachos, you bring the flour, then comes v'neskem, then comes wine. So it says flour comes first. So what does each one do with the other person's puzzle? Flour comes before wine. You can bring it also at night. You can bring it the next day. He learned something else from it. But what did Rabbanan do with the Rebbe's puzzle? It seems like immediately after the carbon you bring wine, and then only afterwards, step 3 is to bring the flour. That comes to say another halacha. Everybody in this room would think that when does the wine become kaddish? When you put it into that special klisharis over here. Yoshi did it funny. it has like a see-through, because he wants you to see what's in there. It's wine, and this one has oil, but obviously that's not the way it is in the Beis HaMikdash. But this is a klisharis. It's a golden vessel. You put oil in there, boop, it becomes kaddish as you put it in. No. It becomes kaddish after you shech the carbon. That's it. That's a zeiri. Rabbi Nami boy like the ziri, but Rabbi also has to learn it from somewhere. It's pasha that's how it works. How does he know it? And Rabban need to know, how do you know that I can bring a mincha the next day? Oh, so we're taking it back. First you bring a carbon, then afterwards you bring the flour. Step 3 is what? Wine. What does he do with the pasuk? Ella, we're doing another thing. When they all come, all 3 of them together, everything on this table right here, you have a carbon, flour, and wine. Everybody agrees there's one order. How do you do it? The mincha first comes the flour, wine is number 3. That it says in the pasuk. First comes the carbon, the oil, then comes the flour. Afterwards comes the wine. If it comes by itself without a carbon, that what? You brought the carbon on Sunday. On Monday you want to bring the flour and the wine. Now we have an argument. We already established the order. Flour comes before wine. Doesn't matter when you bring it. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. First comes flour, then comes wine. Easy, no? You brought an oil onto the mizbeach, that's called eating. The mizbeach is eating, so to speak. So therefore you got to finish up with the food stuff. What's food? If you have 2 items in front of you, flour and wine, which one of them is food? Flour, so it goes flour. But when it comes by itself, wine has more importance than flour. So that's why when they come by themselves, I say do wine first. Because you have to say the Leviim sing, and when they sing, that singing that they do with the oila and with the wine makes it more chashuv than the flour. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.